All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Pop Smoke killer, Block Star, was recently released from prison, and he's now doing interviews. And a lot of people are very upset that he is doing the interview, and also they don't like the people that are interviewing him as well. He recently went on No Jumper, Adam 22, and he had a few things to say about his upbringing. The interview was about an hour and 14 minutes. He did give a few details as to what was happening during that day, but not too much, of course, and we can totally understand that. But he reportedly pled guilty to voluntary manslaughter and got a 4-year sentence. Blackstar was a minor at the time of Pop's murder and told Adam 22 he's been free for several months and even attempted to get a regular job and go back to school, but the streets eventually pulled him back. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say.
So,
and all the dudes you were with were like approximately your age?
around.
Had y'all gone on missions like this before?
Next question.
So it wasn't a situation where, because a lot of people were trying to. So when the situation did happen, it was a lot of speculation of what happened, and there was 2 people in the house that night with Pop Smoke that people thought backdoored them and shit. So you saying that you didn't know any of the people in the house at all?
Nobody backdoored nobody. Let's clear that up. Nobody. I know that 100% for sure. Nobody backdoored nobody. That female, I can't speak too much on it, but she don't know what she's talking about at all.
As far as what did she say that you
She
seen?
came out at one point and basically acted as if she believed that it was a backdoor situation, and she tried to call out the Mike D dude and like act like he was being shady.
A lot of people are upset at Adam, right? Which rightfully so, I can understand. Why would Adam want to open up a situation that's happened a while ago? It's like the people that were hurt by this circumstance, they now have to relive and have to hear and have to actually see the face of one of the alleged killers. I get it. I also understand Adam's side as well. I'm not saying that he wasn't doing it for clout. He could be. A lot of content creators do. But it is interesting to actually go a little bit deeper to see what type of mindset that this person had. What type of background did he come from to put him in this situation?
But it never really seemed like that was accurate. You're saying that that's true, that y'all did not know him? Because how the bunch of 15-year-old kids from LA be in touch with older Brooklyn Crip dudes that just like seemed like a stretch from the beginning, right?
Exactly. Well, I'm not saying it's impossible to know, but we didn't know that nigga. I don't even know what he looked like. I don't even know what the female looked like.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, I don't wake up in the morning and pay attention to this situation. It's in the back of my head, like, what I did, like, feel me? But I'm not every day, that's what they post and what they talking about. I just let social media be social media. Yeah, they want a reaction, I'm not gonna give it to y'all. So I just let them do what they do. You're not getting a reaction out of me.
Right. And so, I mean, I don't know exactly like what you're going to be comfortable talking about, but everybody keeps saying that you were the truth.
Again, I can see why it would be difficult for anybody that has close ties to Pop Smoke to be able to view something like this. I mean, it is quite disturbing. I put myself in their shoes, right? Let's say hypothetically that this was my son. I probably would want to put hands on, but I got things to lose, right? But you've taken something that's so precious to many people and his parents, and you strip them of that. So I totally get why people will look at this interview as being something negative.
Man, is that accurate?
Next question.
Can't talk about that.
Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Even if you wasn't the trigger man, I feel like Because a lot of people were saying it was a robbery gone wrong. No, no one was intended to get hurt that night.
Nobody's intended to get hurt. Nobody.
So do you feel like drugs played a part in the situation? Like, why did he end up getting shot anyway? Like, why? Especially
I
if,
don't feel like the drugs was part of the situation. I just feel like, I don't know, we was just kids being kids from the hood, and too much movement. That's all, too much movement.
as a movement from Pop Smoke
Movement from everybody.
in the house.
Too much shit going on. It was too much shit going on. So it's just like, it wasn't intentionally. We wasn't on that.
You were picturing it just being a in and out type of situation, or you didn't even know they were going to be home, right?
I didn't even know they was gonna be home. Honestly, I didn't know. Once I got there, and I got the dribble. Like kid,
Yeah.
like what some petty ass 5-6 months.
Now, the thing that I don't like is the fact that he keeps saying that he was a kid, right? Kids know right from wrong. Kids know right from wrong. And it almost seems as though as he's making an excuse as to why we should accept it, so to speak. Why it's okay for us to overlook this and be okay with this whole situation. I was just a kid. I was just a kid. Kids do dumb things. I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't really know how I even got there. You know, I'm a kid. I call BSing with that. I believe he knew exactly what he was doing. I believe he understood the consequences that would come from it. And I just think he just really didn't care. You know, a lot of people don't understand that the generation that we live in, especially with the youth, a lot of them don't care. A lot of them are fearless. A lot of them are impulsive. They're emotional, and they think afterwards. So they will do something, and even know that it's wrong, they don't care. And then afterwards, it is what it is.
For a robbery, I ain't worried about it.
Did you feel emboldened as a 15-year-old because you knew that even if you did get caught for some crazy shit that you're going in for a few years and then you're getting out?
Nah.
You hadn't even thought about it?
When I waited there, it wasn't a few years that you get it out. It wasn't none of that. While I waited there, the first words I heard from I first had a public defender. First words I heard from the public defender was, "You probably never see light again."
Even as a 15-year-old, they told you that right away.
At 16.
16.
Well, I was 17 because they arrested me right after my birthday. So from hearing that, like, that right there just broke me. Like, never coming home. And I'm just like, it's what it is. Like, I can't do shit about it no more.
You know, a lot of people, and I'm saying that this was the case for him, but a lot of people will put on the front and they will act like that they're okay with the situation, and it is what it is. And it's easy for him to say that right now, right, because he's out. But when those moments come to you in real time, you really are in fear. Like, you really have no idea what your life is going to be looking like for the next 20 years. So, again, it's one of those things that I believe that they do regret their situations, but since they're so impulsive, emotional, they're not really thinking, they have like no fear of doing wrong, a lot of the regret and the thoughts come afterwards.
How many days later did it take for you to get arrested? Because what they said, it was anonymous tips from New York.
It was a minute. They took a minute.
Yeah, nobody who knew who did it for like months after it happened, right?
5-6 months. They didn't arrest us for a minute.
And when you were thinking you got away with it?
I didn't think I got away with it. I was up like every day, like looking out my window, like every time I hear sirens, I'll wake up in my sleep and look outside the window. Like, I never thought I got away with it. I got too comfortable, yeah.
What do you mean by too comfortable?
I just allowed myself to, the way I was moving, I allowed myself, basically, like, I had my phone on me, the same, like, I should have got rid of that phone. I'm just being young, like, man, like, police ain't know what they talking about. Niggas ain't got shit on me. I mean, like, feel me, but outside in the back of my mind, like, fuck, like, they probably got something, but they still ain't have nothing. Like, when I was up in there, they have nothing on me. Nothing.
And so are you just like sitting around the house kind of hiding out a little bit, and you're looking at social media, and I'm sure.
Could you imagine being that person that actually committed that crime, and now for the rest of your life, and until you got caught, you have to watch over your shoulder? Could you imagine just not being able to get any sleep whatsoever because your conscience is hunting you? You concerned about people retaliating. I just don't get why these thoughts was never present before the act. Because if you were thinking before the act and you had these feelings, then you might not have gone through with it or even participated with it. I do want to hear what Smoke's mother had to say, so we're gonna go ahead and switch it over there and see what she was talking about.
What has the forgiveness process been like for you? Have you been able?
I don't want to say there's nothing to forgive,
Right.
but I don't approach it that way.
Yeah. How do you approach it?
People ask me, and I know they're waiting for, some stuff that they can hang on to. Look, I'm not ready to go have tea with anybody and, go to anybody's house and have a meal. And I acknowledge the change that's been brought to my life and devastated my family. But it doesn't make sense to hold on to some sort of anger and bitterness that you can't do nothing with. Now, they say the thing they say about forgiveness is that, it's like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. Mm-hmm. I recognize you. You know what I'm saying? I recognize what's done to me. And I
know it takes a lot to forgive people in general, but imagine someone killing your son or your daughter or someone close to you. That's a different type of forgiving. It is. It almost makes me think and wonder if people truly are forgiven, or is it just something that they're telling themselves in order to be able to get through whatever it is that they're trying to get through. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she could have forgiven him, but it is interesting to hear people when they say that. And it's really hard for us to really understand what it is, especially when you have not gone through anything that's similar to what she has experienced.
know how I have to move. But I'm not going to hold on to something because then you've won. You've eaten my soul. I can't let you do that. So the fact that those young men, because they were minors and adolescents when they did the crime, that by age 25 they have to be released.
Because I saw one was recently released.
Apparently so.
The one thing that I do want to say about forgiving is that you have to get to a place where you're comfortable in your own mind, because if you do not get to a place like that, then you're liable to respond on the outer. Think about somebody doing something to you, right? And in order for you not to retaliate or to get in a dark place, you really have to motivate yourself and not go to that place, because if you go to that place, you're going to have an uneasy rest of your life.
And I really don't pay attention. I think the shooter is what they said. Okay, so, and if I was his mother, I'd be grateful, right? That he gets another chance at life and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm not his mother. I can say, for her, it's a good thing. She gets her son back. I don't get mine back, but I'm not going to sit in it, because sitting in it doesn't help me. This is hard enough. To sit in it?
Yeah. That's why I have to check.
And that's the reason why I said it's different. Everybody has a different perspective and approach when it comes to this, right? With Adam 22 being a content creator, he's looking to have the conversation. Somebody like Pop Smoke's mother, and his loved ones, they're not trying to have a conversation. They don't want to hear anything else about it, especially not from the killer. It could be anybody else but the killer. The the person who was being interviewed now, his mother and his family, they may be grateful that he's out, whereas the fans, the supporters, the people that was close to Pop Smoke, they're still trying to understand how can this person, after doing such a malicious crime, be free and being able to do these interviews. So depending on who you are, you're going to have a different perspective on what's happening in this very moment.
Myself, because I get angry because I'm in media and I
Right,
get to
right.
sit and watch these interviews and I get to see, because I know you and I know the type of woman of integrity, and we've had like our intimate moments off camera, breaking bread with each other, and it makes me so angry to see someone who was granted another chance at life do interviews and be so disrespectful and disintuned and disingenuous. It makes me so angry, and I find myself writing and like, you are scum of the earth, and then I just kind of like reel back and say, Titi, that's not the energy that you need to have. But it makes me so angry, and I often think about you and how you may feel, and if you even pay any of that any attention, or you close it all out.
I'm not tuned into that. It's not so much that I'm closing it out. It's that it's just not a part of my world. So I have people who will come and say, have you heard? People will hit me up on, Ma, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, what's the matter? And I felt the way when you just said that he was being disrespectful, because I've been told that he's been interviewing and being disrespectful, and I got to let that go.
Yeah.
Because that'll eat me up.
Yeah.
I got to let that go.
Yeah.
Because the bottom line is your life is over.
Yeah.
His life is finished. He's living. But if that's his approach to what he's done, life is done for him.
And that gives me chills, because it's like we know this because we're at a level of consciousness, and we know how we're supposed to operate as humans in the bodies on earth. And when you're,
And that's kind of like what I was speaking about a little earlier. In this reaction was that you have to get to a place, man. Shout out to Pop Smoke's mom, man. I know it's not a difficult thing to discuss, but she was brave enough to come on this platform and being able to express her feelings. This interview that she's done and some other interviews may be able to help other people that's going through similar things that she's going through. But one of the things that I've heard from people that have done time is that you do have a lot of time to reflect on things. So I'm hoping that that young man asks for forgiveness, and I'm hoping that he regrets what he's done and did what he needed to do internally to get to a better space. I'm not really one to really judge anybody, but it was an unfortunate event that Pop Smoke had to go through, and his family, friends, and fans had to endure through. So shout out to everybody. My condolences to the family of Pop Smoke. And we got to do better, man. We have to really stop this crime. We only got one life, and everybody wants to be able to live as much life as they can. Life is about minimizing risk and being able to just enjoy the experience with friends and family and loved ones, man. Until next time.